Great rising, everyone. As you can see, it's still dark out and it's still the break of dawn, as we like to say. My name is Francisco Jara. I am the founder of Giving Business Soul, and it's been a few years since I've done a video really highlighting my morning routine. And since that time, I have really integrated some new things into it to ultimately get me into these heightened levels, these flow states. And so what we're gonna do is just walk you play by play down to exactly the morning supplements that I take, the type of breath work, the cold bath that I just absolutely love to get me really in the door, in the pocket, and then some red light and some movement. So you're gonna really get a good understanding of what I call the Merchant Embodiment Protocol. It is a protocol to get your body essentially primed and ready to go ahead and show up in the world and light it up. So let's go check out this morning cocktail. Okay, so now I'm gonna take you through the morning cocktail of supplements that I do to prep my body for essentially everything that's gonna go on and down in my laboratory. These supplements mostly are to feed my mitochondria to get the most out of the red light therapy as well as the cold bath. These are also included in the Merchant Embodiment Protocol. This is the True Niagen, which is an NAD+ supplement, and the NMN supplement here that comes from Dr. Sinclair. He's a renowned doctor that speaks about rejuvenation and regeneration, and essentially really taking this idea of being able to reverse our age. Quite an amazing supplement. And then the 3K complex as well. This is really to kind of prime my heart for the movement. This is kind of just the very base of what I take. In addition, what I like to do is kind of prepare my electrolytes as well as the essential aminos. And again, both in the protocol, I put this in the same container, and this is what I normally drink during my actual movement in addition to water. So I think it's important to prepare the body, get the right supplementation, and then that way all the different things that we do are just enhanced to the most. So let's go to the next routine. It's a little easy sometimes to get my morning ritual when you got a view like this. This is a place of inspiration for me. Over time, I've essentially gotten this place to exactly the way I like it. This sense of just feeling so uplifted in my own sanctuary here. Got some running water in the background, a nice fountain, got a beautiful view. Feels very expansive, just expanding the vision. And this is the, this little flow room, as I like to say, the little laboratory. This is where I come and I do breath work, I do red light. You'll also see I have my infrared sauna here. And this is where I go first thing in the morning. Okay, so here we are in the laboratory, and as I mentioned, the first thing that I like to do is breath work. And I typically do it two different varieties. Normally I like to do the Wim Hof first thing. It's a 4-round session, about 17-18 minutes. And I do that specifically on this grounding mat. This is called a PEMF mat, stands for Pulse Electromagnetic. What it does is essentially, if you can imagine, it takes care of the magnetism for us in the body. So instead of having to be barefoot on the earth for 8 hours, simply doing a 16-minute session here is the equivalent to being on the earth barefooted for 8 hours. So it promotes, overall well-being, reduces inflammation, really works at a cellular level, and just really begins to repair us from the inside out. So quite a great sort of mat. And again, I like to stack these things, so I'm doing both in one shot. So in 16-18 minutes, I'm getting grounded, my nervous system is getting primed and ready for that cold bath. So let's go ahead and get started with this one.
Are you ready? Here we go. Round number 1. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Go with the flow of the breath. In, out. In, out. In, out.
Okay, so just finished my breath work, did 4 rounds of the Wim Hof, And I do this again just to sort of get the nervous system primed, get it ready, get the adrenaline, get the blood flowing. And then from here, I go straight into my ice bath. So let's go check that one out. Okay, so here we are. This is one of my favorite pieces of equipment. This is the Morosco Forge. It's a cold bath. And not only is it a cold bath, but it essentially is a filtration system, keeps the water oxygenated. Yeah, it's great because, you know, it's always ready to go. And from the ice bath standpoint, this really helps me get into the pocket. You know, there is a door inside of us that allows us to sit at the seat of our power. And it's quite an extraordinary place to get yourself into before you get the day started. So here is the Morosco, baby. Okay, so normally I like to get a little bit of music going, just kind of set the meditative space for myself, get my timer going. And just so that everybody's aware, it's probably about 48 degrees out here right now. And it's interesting because it actually feels warmer inside the freezing water when it's colder out. So here we go. I have to clean up my feet. And for me, this is just a meditative spot. Those 3 minutes go by really quickly. I like to do at the end is kind of move around a little bit as well. This helps create a little bit more adrenaline in the system. As you can see, you got a nice amount of blood vessels just popping. You know, you feel really alive, really awake. The nervous system is just primed, it's ready. You know, there's just nothing like it, you know. I mean, it's just an immediate shock to the entire system. As Wim Hof likes to say, the cold is a merciless teacher. You know, and just there's no escaping it, you know, and the only thing you can do is really just drop deep into your body, stay connected to the breath. And this, you know, has impact everywhere. It has impact in the boardroom. Anytime life presents you, you know, this opportunity where it tries to trigger you, shake you, you just have always access to that breath and to be able to anchor deep into the body. And it's just a wonderful feeling. Okay, so obviously just got out of the cold bath, and immediately I come right over to my Joovv infrared red light. I do 10 minutes on my front, 10 minutes on my back. One of the main things that the Joovv light does, it definitely stimulates the mitochondria. Again, we already took those supplements, but this also helps and promotes healing at the body. It reduces inflammation, all sorts of amazing benefits. And I've been doing the red light now every morning for almost about 5-6 years. I think it's been one of the key factors to help me reverse my biological age. So fantastic thing, and it also has just a little bit of heat, so it's kind of a nice little treat right after that cold bath. Okay, so now we're in the movement portion of my routine. We're in my garage, and this is where I got all my equipment. I got some gym flooring here. I got some mirrors in order to kind of make sure that I'm connecting with the body in different motions. And I normally like to just kind of throw on some nice like flow music and put my timer on and just put the phone away. And as I like to say, I like to just be myself, my breath, and then God, and just disappear into the body. And I follow a system called functional patterns, and functional patterns essentially focuses on your human biomechanics. So the movements that essentially has evolved the species, and to essentially bring those into the way they're supposed to be. You know, and in this gym right here, exactly where I do everything, this is where I just gotta get down into it. As I like to say, I like to do kind of like shadow work for the body. You know, where I'm looking at parts of my body that I don't have a neural connection to and establishing a neural connection. I think when we do that, we develop intelligence, we develop a lot more presence, because it's like we have to track a lot more things when we're actually in the motion versus kind of doing stuff that we've been taught at the gym. It's kind of mindless, you know, it's very repetitive, same motion over and over, and you don't really have to think about it. But when you're doing functional patterns and you're really connecting to the body, you got to keep a lot more things, you know, at the forefront of your consciousness in order to achieve the motion in the way it's supposed to. So let's get to it. This is the functional pattern movement. Okay, so here we are closing off the routine. This is my infrared sauna, and I just love getting in here after a routine. Invite additional stressors, as they call them, the hermetic stressors. And when you introduce extreme heat to the body, you know, at a cellular level, you start to develop resilience and the ability to sort of manage stress, if you will. And this is one of my favorite ways to do that and get a great sweat, detoxify. So let's jump on in. So currently, I mean, you know, normally this thing is about 140 to 155, just kind of depending on how much preheat you get. And as you can see, I mean, immediately you'll start to sweat, and it's just fantastic. Great way to detoxify the body. I like to typically put on some really nice sort of meditation music and just kind of go into a 30-minute sort of meditation, if you will. I like to close my eyes, and I can't tell you how many great ideas I've actually had in here. You know, no matter what it is in business and relationships, different things just really kind of come into play when you're in that stillness and when your body is sort of dealing with the stressor of the heat. It's just a wonderful way to, again, just clean things up inside of yourself. Okay, so that wraps up the morning ritual, and as you can see, this is a process that I do day in and day out, and I've done it for many years. Ultimately, it is to get me into the flow state. I am a leader of an organization. I have multiple businesses. It really is important for me to activate that flow state, to get deep within my body so that I can feel and perform at my absolute best. Giving Business Soul is one of the organizations that I lead, and what we are now doing is leading other entrepreneurs down this path, down this orientation about anchoring deep within the body to activate these flow states. What I feel is the bomb that the world really needs is for soul-centered entrepreneurship to come alive. And so I have a program called the Roundtable MasterClass. It is called the Principles of the Embodied Entrepreneur. It is a deep understanding of knowledge and wisdom that allows you to move much more in accordance with the reality of nature, as simultaneously dropping deep within the body so that we can be strong in the body, so we can activate these flow states. So if you're an entrepreneur and you are ready to really up level yourself, click on the link in the description below to set up a discovery call with me. I would love to connect and see if you're ready for this type of initiation, because it is a calling, a deep calling for those that are ready. I'm looking for those where this message resonates, it lands in the soul and says, gosh, I want that fire. If you want that fire, I want to have a conversation with you. So click on the link in the description, and I'll see you on the call.